Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Friday, sunshine. Yes, September 6th. So, we are having technical difficulties on my end. Day before yesterday, I forgot. And then I finally got it up later in the day for you guys. And then yesterday, because I was going to mow first thing, I uploaded. And when I got down to the shop, after I got done mowing, because I started a little after 6 in the morning mowing, and then coming all the way up here, it said invalid format, download, or had to be abandoned or something. So I come back up to the house, tried uploading it again, same thing. I'm hoping today is going to be different. I have it re-uploading right now from my video program to a file, and then I want to see if maybe yesterday file got corrupted or something. I don't know. Well, what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about knowing your limits. And a lot of you guys are going to say, now, what the hell does that mean? Stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back. My name is Eric, and this is the weekday, Monday through Friday, and it's available on podcast as well. Today we're talking about knowing your limits. And at first I thought maybe make the title, what's the difference between men and boys? But I've seen some men not know their limits. See, normally as we get older, we gain wisdom, right? From time and experiences, you gain wisdom. And one of the things that I paid a lot of attention to was, when you're younger, you can run with the dogs quite a bit, right? Heck, go out every weekend and party and still be to work all week long, But as we get older, we have more limitations, all right? And most of them are physical. And hopefully it's not mental, because mental is where, as we get older, we should be shining. We should be, it's kind of like, you need to put in a water pipe from the well to the house because the old one rotted through or something. You're living out in the rural area, because I know in town, the city workers come out and do it for you. But you're out here in the country, and you have to do that yourself. So you're going to do one of two things. If you're younger, you're going to grab a shovel and dig that trench, lay that pipe, and then backfill it, tamp it all down with your shovel, and be done with it. Probably take you half, 3/4 of the day. There's nothing wrong with that if you're physically fit. But as you get older, like with me, my thought process would be, okay, I have to dig that ditch. I'm going to rent a mini excavator to dig the ditch. So I'm using wisdom, knowing my limitations of, I know it's going to kill me to run a shovel all the way to one to the other. But in my case, I own a mini excavator, and I own a full-size excavator because I know my limits. My limits say, if you want to dig a hole, you ain't doing it with a shovel, puppy. So over time, I've added that to my repertoire of using my mind wisdom versus my brawn, right? And it's a lot of things in life, when it comes to business. Not everybody is made to run a business, to start up a business. And I see in cases people that are great startups but suck at running a business. And for a lot of years, that was me. I had a lot of startups that were successful. But once they became mundane, I soon started, my interest would wane, it would kind of evaporate. And I would find it very boring. I needed a challenge to keep me preoccupied, per se. And my wife used to help me with that, try to keep me grounded and keep doing the same thing, because she'd give me different tasks to accomplish that she thought if I looked at it, I'd say, okay, I can get that done. But without her, I would have dropped it and went on to something else, the next greatest. In my younger years, I was a lot of, wow, he's real young to have accomplished that already. And that was, to me, a stamp of approval, right? But what most people didn't realize was I was great at it. But to do the day-to-day operations, I didn't have the wisdom. I didn't have the patience. When they say Rome wasn't built in a day, it would be our first house. I had the floor sidewall studded and the rafters on in a day. You're looking at me, right? And most of that was by myself. My wife did help me, sliding up rafters on the roof. But as far as laying out the walls, doing the floor, no. We had pillars that we could come off from, so I just set up, was it 2x10s? 2x12s. By 12, and I did 3 sets. And it was 60 foot long, 30 foot wide. Floor down, covered with OSB, studded 2x4 walls all the way around it. Well, they were 2x6. And then 2x10 rafters up in a day. And I also had OSB on every corner to hold it in to keep it square when we were putting the rafters up. That's what I mean. I had the shell all done within a week and a half. And actually, I can remember it was in May when I started, because it was one of those freak years where we actually got snow in the middle of May. And the rafters were up, the walls, but there was no roof on it, to speak of. Metal, tin. But I got all that. I got all the rooms, all the walls up, the whole thing the way we wanted it, right? But then it came time to do the drywall, the spackling, some inside electrical, and that's where I started losing, where I was getting bored. It was doing mundane things. And I can remember my wife having to get some of her friends to come in and help with those things, because I was looking at the next greatest, and which I ended up 3 houses later. But I've seen young people that couldn't do a startup, but could maintain something and grow it because they had patience. See, that's the key to running a business. Is the key is you want your business to keep at least every year, You don't want to go like this and then you're down here you come. You want to start here and just keep building on what you have, right? And one way to go like this and like this is to step out and put yourself in $300,000 to $400,000 in debt. Yes, floor planning, they will do it to you. As long as you're willing to sign the bottom line, they've got collateral that they can actually come in and grab. So yeah, they can get you that way. I chose, when I talk about being in business, it's about finding your niche, right? And you don't want to do what everybody else is doing, because it's not going to work for you. The last couple of videos I've been trying to stress it enough that when I'm talking, it's advice, but you need to make it your own mantra, because you're going to need to march to it, and you're going to need to understand what it is your vision is, not what Eric's vision is, not what Justin's vision is, what your vision is, right? And I can tell you right now, and Amos, back me up on this, please. You had your own mantra that you weren't doing copycatting somebody else. I know you weren't. And I know you had just as many failures as you did successes. But the big thing is you didn't give up, one, and you kept seeing down the road. You had vision and you had passion. And even when the Chinese market came in, you didn't wait to start putting out cheap products. You don't have to compete with the Joneses. All you have to do is put out a quality product and back it up. A quality service and back it up. But something has to set you apart from everybody else doing it. And what is that going to be? Well, it brings us back to knowing your limitations. If you're going to grab a shovel and dig that ditch, that's fine. You're younger. But hopefully with wisdom, you get some, my thought process would be okay, so I'm going to rent a mini excavator, which I already got one, and I'm going to dig the ditch, but it's going to cost me $350 for the weekend. Well, that ditch really isn't worth $350. So let me think of 10 other projects that I need done around the farm. And now break it down to $35 per project. That's doable. For $35, hell yeah, I'd use a mini versus a shovel any days, even when I was younger. But see, I know my limitations. I know I can't run a shovel. Not very long. And that's the same way in business, as you look at what your limitations are and what you're not good at, okay? And you can do a couple things. One, you can take and focus on the things that you're not good at and try to become good at it, right? That takes time. You can take and capitalize on the things that you are good at and hire somebody to do the things that you aren't. But you need income to pay that other person, right? Unless it's your significant other. I know a lot of shops do it. But no matter how you look at it, you still need to know what your limitations are. Are you good at customer service? See, one of the things about doing a startup and getting it up and going, a lot of times you're wearing a lot of hats, right? And that's very common because most of us can't afford to hire somebody out the gate because it's an all or nothing. We've got all of our marbles in, right? We don't have anything left to shoot. So You make time to learn how to do it in a hurry, right? Or you just keep repeating the process, which is insanity with the same results. Does that sound reasonable? So I'm going to start wrapping things up, but I did find that the other one did go up this morning. It's 10 to 6, so that's up there. And I'll get this one up here shortly, but it's kind of like where I'm at right now. I mean, a lot of people are wondering what's going on with me lately, because they see I'm downsizing the number of head I have, which I didn't realize. I didn't realize I was bad at math too, because I thought I had around like 40, and we've shipped 12 so far in the last 2 weeks, and I lost count at 42. So, I mean, you can't be perfect at everything. But my goal is I like to take the winter off. It's miserable in the wintertime, 20 below zero, because you got to take care of the girls and the babies year round. You don't get a day off. It's not like milk cows, but you're kind of committed. And if it's 20 below, instead of being able to sit next to the pellet stove where it's nice and toasty warm, you got to get dressed, go out, make sure the cows got water, and make sure everything is working right, get on a tractor, and be out there in the sub-zero. And my driving force it's a couple of things. Again, going back to knowing your limitations, but right now the prices are high on animals, all right? Everything from babies to adults. And I don't understand why people are paying so much for them, but I don't care as long as they are. And for the past 2 weeks, we've been loading. We've sent 10 animals to the sale. I watched 3 of them go yesterday. And we've sold 2 to an individual that's trying to increase their herd, which is good. But the deal is like I tell Claude, one way or another, I'm going to downsize. I like to get down to 10 mamas and 10 babies. I'd like to have 0 by October and take the winter off, and then in the springtime put more back on and just maybe do the summer fall, because I know the prices aren't going to stay up. And yesterday, I should be YouTube videoing this, trying to get cows loaded onto the trailer, because like yesterday, we can send them to the sale on Wednesday and Thursday. The sale isn't till Thursday afternoon, but Wednesday the guys will let me bring them down, so that I've got 2 days to try to load, and it's not ideal where I'm loading. But yesterday we had one of my steers, Chucky, and Chucky, he's 1,000 pounds. I think he ended up weighing 980 pounds on the scale yesterday. And he's all muscle. He is a rhinoceros. And Claude's scared of cows, for good reason. He's scared of Chucky. And Chucky would follow me with a pail of grain right up into the cattle trailer. So I told Claude, I said, once he's up in, shut the door. Well, he did this 3 different times, and Claude couldn't get him in. He didn't want to get run over. But you have to commit, and you have to lock that thing, right? So finally, after the 3rd attempt, I told Claude, I said, look, I'm going to run you back down to the shop. I'll come up and see if I can get these guys on my own. Yeah. So I took, because I had the cattle trailer backed in. So I put 2 pails of grain, 2 quarter pails of grain up towards the front. And I had 2 of my older cows, Sweetie Pea and Blackie, go right in. And Chucky would get his couple front feet in, and then he would look towards the door where Claude was. And I was standing there, and I had a cigarette lit. He knew I was there. And then he'd back away, and he kept going a little farther, until finally he committed with his back feet. Well, once he committed with his back feet into that trailer, I was committed to locking him in. Now, I've got 3 on the trailer, all right? And I don't want to ship the one just yet. And that's Sweetie Pea. Sweetie Pea is a solid Angus. She's probably around 8 years old. She's still young for a cow. So I told Claude, I said, let's run them down. I'll have the guys run Chucky and Blackie through the chutes, and we'll put Sweetie Pea back on. The guys were no problem. So because they run them, they do this all the time. So all we had to do was open up the gate. Actually, Nathan, the grandson to the people that own the sale barn, he hopped right up there and opened the gate and cut them loose. And between the 3 of them down there, they had 2 into the chutes and 1 coming back. And here comes Blackie, or Sweet Pea, coming back, put her back on the trailer. So I brought her home. I backed the trailer in. I opened the door, and she just stared out. She walked, and then she started bellowing. And that was around 11 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning when we did this. So at 2:30, I come up to start getting ready to mow the yard and stuff. And there she is all by herself, standing by the cattle trailer. I'm like, Sweetie Pea, I brought you back. You're here. You're fine. And then she finally joined the rest of the herd that was out into the field. But for some reason, she is standing there like dumbfounded. Like, should I have left her there? Yes, if I'm trying to get all of them. But the key is, if they got a calf, this year's calf in there with them, I want to keep them in there, because if I can't get them to the sale, the calves, then I want mamas there to take care of them. So I'm all done rambling for today. You guys enjoy the weekend. Again, I apologize for this week's technical difficulties. And I'll get this one uploaded right now. And I have 2. I'm not sure how I'm going to do for the weekend. It's supposed to rain and stuff. But we're going to start raking hay just as soon as the dew's off the ground. And I'm going to be baling for quite a while. I got a lot of hay on the ground yesterday morning. So on that note, you guys have a great Friday, and we'll catch you here bright and early Monday morning for the weekday. Thanks so much for watching.